Hey everybody, this is Technoli again, and today we've got a $500 Hackintosh, and we're going to show you a complete guide to this, how we're going to do it. This is with an i5 9600K and a 9th gen processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, DDR4, and we've got 250 gigabyte SSD M.2 drive. Now, what I decided to do on this video is go ahead and show you how well the system is performing before we even get started, because there was a lot of people thinking that maybe what I'm building here is not going to work or not going to be powerful enough to do anything. But just wanted you to see a little bit of video, and then we're going to also show you some tests. So I'm going to go ahead and run Cinebench, and we're going to get a clock on this, and when we come back, we'll get the results. Okay, we're coming down here to the end. Let's see what we have. All right, so we've got 2635 on this test. Not bad at all. By the way, we're using this motherboard. This is a Asus Prime Z370A-2. And so that's the motherboard we're using. Pretty easy build. Wasn't too difficult. All right, now let's go out of here and let's do Geekbench 5, okay? All right, we'll run this. Okay, we're coming down to the end here. Let's see what kind of a score we have on Geekbench 5. Remember to subscribe and like if you want to see more of these videos. Okay, so we got 1173 on a single core, 4771 on a multi-core score. So very nice, very nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with this build. Now, what I want you to do this time is make your USB drive. You're going to use UniBeast, but on this one you're going to use Mojave 9.2. And remember, to make this USB bootable installer, you have to be on a Mac that already has Mojave on it to be able to get it on this USB drive, okay? So I showed you that in another video, which will be in a link in the description of how to build one of these, okay? But let me show you what else I put on this one that is for this build. All right, so I'll put the thumb drive in, and let me show you what's on here. All right, so in the description below, like I said, we're going to have this file, and this file, and you're going to download those. You're going to need Clover Configurator to make some changes, and you're going to need this text, and you're going to need this text file. Has some things in it that we're going to need when we pretty much get everything done. Okay? All right, let's get going. But first, we got to go into the BIOS and change some of the BIOS settings so this will work. So let's get started with that. Restart and start tapping that delete key to go into the BIOS. Okay, so here we go in the BIOS. On Asus, of course, you press F2 or the delete key to get in the BIOS when you first turn on the system. So we'll go here to PCI Express. You can just leave it by default for now. Go back, CPU configuration. We will leave everything here. Yep, by default. All cores active, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we've got VT-D disabled, which you definitely want. Graphics configuration, we're going to use the onboard graphics, so CPU graphics. The rest of this you can leave the way it is. This you can leave enabled. This is your PCI Express configuration. The storage, you definitely want to have SATA controllers enabled. AHCI has to be on. And the rest of this you can leave as is. Yep. This PCH FW configuration, you can leave it by default. Thunderbolt disabled. Onboard devices, we want to have the HD audio controller enabled. DVI audio port we don't need to worry about. We want to change the M.2 to 4x. 3.1 controllers okay. LAN we want on. And everything, oh, definitely serial port configuration. It has to be off. Off. Okay, we'll go back down here. Everything here in your APM configuration just leave as default. USB configuration by default. Make sure you have the legacy USB support. Stack will disable. And this HD Smart just by default. NVMe configuration, nothing to worry about there. Okay, now we want to go over to boot. We want to disable fast boot. Boot configuration is fine by default. CSM, you definitely want to have that disabled. Secure boot, we want to have other OS. All right, so now we can go over to exit, save changes, and reset. Now we can start booting. All right, we're going to be pressing that F8 key to go to the boot menu. We have our USB flash drive in there. There it is right there. SanDisk. Hit enter. Now we see the Clover screen come up, which is our bootloader. Okay, now if you're building this computer with new components, in other words, you're using a hard drive or an M.2 drive that has nothing on it, you're not going to see any other partitions like these, okay? You're just going to see external, which is our USB boot drive. So we want to hit the space bar, go down here, hit the space bar again to watch verbose mode, which is all the text you're going to see, and then boot macOS with selected options and hit enter. All right, now it's going to start to boot from the USB stick. Okay, then we finally get to this screen. Just let it do its thing. Okay, so once we get here, we want to go to Disk Utility, click Continue. And then we want to go to this little arrow down and show all devices. Now this Kingston is our 250 gigabyte M.2 hard drive. So we're going to click Erase. And I'm going to name it Internal HD. Okay. Now we want to make sure that it says macOS Extended Journaled and GUID Partition Map. Click Erase. Okay, once we get here, we're done. Click Done. Exit the Disk Utility. And we're going to go up to Install macOS. Click Continue. and you come up with this error. But that's okay, we have a workaround for this. Just click OK, go over here to Utilities, go down to Terminal, and then you're going to type date, because we have to backdate the computer. So we'll go ahead, type date now to put in the new date, and we're going to say 01/16/00/52/18. So I'm going to go back 2 years. Okay, so now our date is 2018, same day and time. Quit Terminal, go back to Install Mac OS, click Continue. All right, we're good to go now. Agree, agree, select our newly formatted drive, and let it install. Now this will get up to a certain point and it'll restart on its own. Don't freak out, it's supposed to do that. We'll come back. Okay, it says about 4 minutes remaining. So just sit tight with this. Okay, now we're at 2 minutes remaining. It's going to reboot on its own. There it went. So we want to make sure we come back up to the USB flash drive, boot from it. I'm going to press F8 on this one. Okay. All right. So I want to boot there on my SanDisk. Okay, we're going to be over here on the HFS, which is the internal. If you read right here, it says internal HD. We're going to hit spacebar, go down to Verbose, hit the spacebar, back up, boot with selected options. Hit enter. Now we're going to go through the same text on the screen and then another reboot. We'll come back. All right. Now we're at the Apple logo. Still installing. Okay. We're back at a reboot again. We're going to boot from the USB drive again. Now I did do a vanilla install with this, and it was quite difficult. So what I try to do in all of my videos with all my Hackintoshes is choose the easiest method for you guys to do, the least amount of pain. So I chose the 9.2 version of UniBeast for Mojave, okay? All right, so we'll boot from the USB. And we're going to boot from the hard drive again. Go over to the hard drive, press the space bar, Verbose, space bar, and enter. And more text. Okay, once we get to the Apple logo on this one, it's going to pretty much go all the way across. So you just have to bear with it. It takes about 15, 16, 17 minutes, something like that. And then we're going to reboot again. Okay, we're down to 2 minutes remaining. Getting exciting now. Now this build, we're going to have to do a couple of things after we're finished. But I'll explain it to you in detail so you don't get frustrated. And if you have any questions, or if you have a motherboard you want me to test, let me know and I'll do the best that I can to do it for you. Okay, another reboot. So we're going to come up one more time on the USB stick. Enter. Okay, and now one more time we want to boot from the hard drive. It's over here now. It's the Intel HD, or I'm sorry, Internal HD. That's what we named it. spacebar, verbose, back up, boot. Okay, once we get here, it's the fun part. We'll go down here and choose our country. Mine is US. Next. Keyboard. Okay, now you want to plug in your Ethernet cable, okay? Because now we don't care if the date goes back to the correct date. So go ahead and plug that in. Then click continue. We want to use DHCP, automatically obtain an IP address. Okay, that's fine. Don't transfer. I'm going to set this up later. Skip. Agree to the terms and conditions. Agree. And name it something that you want. I'm going to call this a Mac. And put in a password. And continue. And here I always choose enable location services. Then I take away these check marks. So I don't want to give Apple any of my information. Continue. I'll choose dark. That's it, guys. But wait, there's more. Go ahead and tell it what kind of keyboard we have. Now, you remember that thumb drive? Now is the fun part. All right, so on our thumb drive, you will have gone to underneath the description here and downloaded 3 files. Clover configurator, Apple ALC, this is to get our audio to work, and this is some text files that we're going to have to put into our Clover configurator, okay? So let's go ahead and start with moving our bootloader EFI partition to this hard drive. So we're going to mount, right now we're going to mount our USB thumb drive so we can get to the EFI. There's our EFI folder right there. Now we need to get to this is the hard drive, the internal HD. We need to get its partition, EFI partition, opened up, okay? So there it is. That's the one on the hard drive, and you'll notice it doesn't have anything in it. So we're going to take this one, which is on our USB stick, okay, the hidden EFI folder. We're going to copy it over to this one, and we're going to replace it. Okay, now, once that's done, we're going to go to the EFI folder, Clover, Text, Other. Now we're going to go back to our flash drive. This has these other files that we downloaded that we got to have, okay? And we're going to copy this Apple ALC text into the other folder of the EFI partition, okay? So we go back a little bit. Remember, we go to EFI, Clover, text, Other, and we just dragged that in there and dropped it, okay? Now we have to make some changes with Clover configurator. So we're going to go back to our config.plist and open with Clover configurator. All right. So now to fix the graphics, right now you're going to see on this, it shows Intel graphics, the 630 chipset, but it's only 7 megabytes showing of RAM. So if you look down here, this is not transparent, this bar down here. So we need to fix it. So we're going to open up our text file that you downloaded, okay? And we're going to just simply, under ACPI, plus sign, click in the comments, and we can just copy this much of this one, change GFX0 to GPU. Copy it, paste it. And then we're going to put in this next field, find. We're going to copy these numbers. Okay. And then in replace field, we're going to copy the next set of numbers. So this isn't too bad, right? Okay, then click the plus sign. We're going to do another line. So this one is the change HECI. Okay, copy that, paste it. And then the next set of numbers on that second line, copy, paste. And then this set, oops. Put it in here. We got one more. Change MEI to IMEI. Copy. Paste. Next set of numbers and letters. Paste. Copy. And paste. Now, we're done with that part. Now what we want to do is, you'll see here it says boot tab. So we want to click on the boot tab and make sure that this is in here. This is NVIDIA disable equals 1, and it's already by default in there. Go to the devices tab, and we need to make sure that this is set to 0x0. Okay, we'll just do it like that. Don't need to inject anything. Okay, and then we want to go to the SymBIOS, and we want to go down here and choose 17.1. Okay, Mac model 17.1, and then we're going to save everything. Exit out of Clover configurator. Get rid of all this stuff now. And restart. Let's see if it works when we come back. Now we can pull out our thumb drive that we did all of that work with. Let it boot up to the hard drive. Select our partition and boot. Okay, we'll go over there. Just hit enter. A little faster now, huh? Okay. Log in. And there's our transparent bar. We show our graphics right here. Full high definition. 1920 by 1080. And we're on the internet. And there we go. I hope you really enjoyed this one. Please leave comments below. If you have any problems, let me know. Please subscribe. I really appreciate that. And ring that little bell. And like if you liked it. We'll see you on the next one.